Wine is serious business. It's a wine blog on the internet.
That's not going to be the last time you hear that.
Hey Internet, I'm Chaz.
And I'm Dan. Welcome to Wine is Serious Business.
Finger guns, just delete that forever.
Episode 328.
Fuck.
That's not the first or last time you'll see finger guns on Wine is Serious Business. We're here today with a mix of three wines that are all a little outside of the mainstream. I think good representatives of the unique stuff that's going on in Oregon. Some producers that have now been around for a little while. Not any of the super old producers, also not the brand new producers. But they're all doing really good stuff. Have stuck around for a while. They've all found kind of their own niche, found some success. We're going to start out with bow&arrow.
Okay.
This is a project from Scott Frank. He and his wife Dana Frank have been on the Portland wine scene.
Dana's been on the show.
Yeah, Dana's been on the show. If you're watching the show, you've probably met them before. But bow&arrow, I think, made a big name for itself with their Gamay Noir.
Yeah, totally.
But make a lot of different wines as well. Make some high quality.
The rhinestones, right?
Yeah, well, that's a blend.
Okay,
that's a blend. But they just do bow&arrow Gamay,
okay.
which it's
the
so good that it sells
I see on a regular basis. I love it.
Rhinestones is good.
Yeah.
Pinot Noir is good. This I never had. I knew they got it. Read label, double check. Yeah, okay. La Chenaie Vineyard Sauvignon Blanc. I did some reading about this. Saw some good reviews online. I thought it was interesting. Had to check it out.
Dan's French pronunciation is on point tonight.
Yeah, something like that. 2015. Yeah.
Sure sounded right. It sounded legit.
Sure. Yeah. So we had some discussions about this before we start, but
yeah, sure.
Yeah, but nose has got a lot going on. I think for me, I'm kind of like a mix of fruits, kind of leaning towards like honeydew melon, something like that, and a little bit of like fresh grassy notes, not like you typically associate with Sauvignon Blanc, but more like I'm thinking like springtime in the prairies or whatever, where you're getting a little bit of pollen, a little bit of young plant material like that.
This doesn't have like a sort of typical Sauvignon Blanc aroma though.
100% true. Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, you can kind of see where there's bits of the flavor profile of like Sauvignon Blanc in the nose, but it doesn't initially smell like that. It has like a very strong sort of yeasty component to it, and there's like a big.
I'm with you on that.
Big
too, yeah.
like, kind of almost a hard hitting like. Let's just say
go for it. Yeah.
Like DEET or like like this like bug spray sort of acidic aroma to the nose.
Like alcohol related at all or no?
No.
And I'm going to say, like, I totally disagree, and I've had that problem with wines before in the past, and I'm not picking it up on this one. So,
okay.
But you are. So, yeah.
Just something about the nose on this that's What's the story with this wine? Is this is this we consider like a natural wine or something?
I think his entire production is.
It is okay.
So I was having a discussion with him and a couple of other people a while ago, and was talking to another guy about like, so do you ever get to the point where you just bring the fruit in, you got it all dialed in, you know exactly how it's going to turn out every time? And the guy was like, I don't know. And Scott was very emphatic. He's like, no matter how long you do this, you never get to the point where it's like, push the button, get the wine you want to get. Right? Like, It's always a learning experience. You make the quote was something like, you make the best decisions you can with the information you have at the time, and you get something different every year and with every grape that you work with. And I thought that was pretty interesting, and that that he's committed to kind of like letting that play out. Sure.
Because it certainly tastes better than it smells to me this time around, which initially when we first pre-tasted it, I was a little, maybe it's the first one I put in my mouth today, right? So.
Another thing, in contrast, I'm regretting using the grassy description because when you're talking Sauvignon Blanc, that puts ideas into your mind, and none of those things are true about this wine. It's like young spring vegetation, I think, more like, because on the palate, it's also not crisp, it's not sharp. I think Sauvignon Blanc often suffers from the same thing that stainless steel Chardonnay does.
I think it's got some sharpness.
Sure.
I mean, the acidic, the acid on the finish has got definitely an acidic.
More acidic or more bitter?
Acidic. To
me. Yeah, okay.
The flavor, go ahead. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
I'm drinking, that's all right.
That's my bad.
But it's got some round character to it as well. Like, I think the fruit was riper. I think the treatment of it definitely wasn't designed to keep it to that crisp, sharp character. Mm-hmm. And I think it serves it really well. As I'm talking, I'm kind of feeling it dry out more on the mid palate, but I like it.
My initial reaction to this wine wasn't good, right? Like the flavor profile, like definitely the acid in the finish was a little peaky, and it still sort of is, but the flavor profile now is a little nicer. At least maybe I'm just getting more into it, like mango, sort of pineapple.
Damn.
it's I mean, and we're not talking like tropical flavors here, like super fruity. It's definitely not. Like it's still got this like. I'm trying to think of the sort of like fruit acidity this would be. It's almost like star fruit or some sort of weird, like wacky fruit. But the flavor profiles are really kind of all over the board here. I really have a hard time with the acid in the finish. And it's not like it's too acidic for me. Nope. It's just the way it comes across. It's something like I keep.
This is it like the difference between lemons and limes, where like lemons are just a little sharper?
Maybe. I mean, it's like this is 13.5 alcohol, but it's like I feel like I'm like exhaling alcohol, something like a dragon. I don't even know, man. It's just weird.
Get up on it. Okay. Yeah. So, and for me, I'm definitely getting some of those riper flavors, the tropical flavors, without it being too heavy. And I'm getting a little bit of like lemon, citrus, kind of with the zest, a little bit of that peel. Yeah, we can do the rinse.
I mean, I know I'm
going for more. Okay.
No, I keep finding this wine like super interesting, because my initial reaction to it was not great, and now it's okay, but the aroma's still.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like it's pretty enjoyable, and it's also a very interesting expression of Sauvignon Blanc. That is not a cliche thing that you experience in a lot of places. I think it's a good chance to learn and try something new. I think. I'd recommend it.
The more I'm going back to this, I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like Dan said, this is a totally outside of the box expression of Sauvignon Blanc. So if you're interested, you should try it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty damn cool.
Cool stuff. Glad I was able to get a hold of a bottle, and hopefully we'll have more wines from these guys on in the future. Wine number 2. 2013 Johan Vineyards Chardonnay Visdom.
Cloudy.
Yeah, a little bit of cloudy. I feel like this is the current release. Does that sound right to you?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
when we were there, this is what they were selling at the tasting.
Thank goodness. Like looking at it, like it makes me second guess myself. But they let this stuff sit in barrel for a while. Mm-hmm. Obviously unfiltered. This has been a favorite of mine for a long time.
Well, I think you had told me this too. I sort of asked when we were there tasting. I'm like, well, what happened to the reserve bottling? And you said like the Visdom is the reserve bottling, and like this wine does get treated way differently than their standard Chardonnay, right? Like what more barrel aging, better barrel selection. Or like probably block selection even at that point. But this is a favorite of.
And it's funny. I'm sure Dan knows what blocks are going into this wine way before they come in. Right?
Absolutely.
We talk about these guys a lot, but I'll never stop because they do great things. Right? It's one of these estates that they've got their own vineyards. They do all the farming. They do all the same guy runs the farming and the winemaking. Dan Rinke, one of the Willamette Valley's geniuses and real treasures right there. When their wines are on point, they're among the best of anybody. And,
true.
And we always like to check in on it. Biodynamic certified, good for the earth. Those vines will be great for 1,000 years, right?
Yeah.
So.
And they sell a lot of their fruit now, right? Like
they do.
We have a lot of people all over the valley making really special wines from Johan Vineyards.
And a lot of small producers, actually. I know they sell a lot.
This is the Johan in Johan Vineyards.
Yeah, this is their estate stuff. So. Yeah. You can tell, like the mallow's definitely coming through, like in there with like some green and some red apples, maybe like some young apricots or something. Good, complex nose.
Stone fruitiness.
In a lot of ways, what you'd expect from a Chardonnay on the riper side, but not in the super heavy way. But it's also on that road. Like you can see it getting there.
It totally, like this has some of like what you see in typically mallowed, like heavy mallowed Chardonnays. Maybe even like a hint of oak aging or something.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of time in barrel.
None of that butter is really coming out, and there's like really good fruit expression on the nose. It smells fantastic. So if you like the style of wine,
yeah. One of our off-camera guests was commented right away. Like reminds me of brioche, right? Little bit of yeasty character on the nose. Definitely, definitely some body to this. Mixed in with the fruit, it's appealing. A lot of people like to hate on Chardonnays with a little bit of body, but I'm not a hater.
Dummies. Oh man.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
It's opened up to be even better. Oh man.
Wonderful acid, like start to finish throughout this wine.
It starts off with like light, crisp apples. So you get a little bit of acidity on the front of the palate. Mm-hmm. Kind of a little bit of a tease, and that richness comes in across the mid palate. Really broadens out. I think apples really are the driving fruit. I'm getting a little bit of tropical flavors, just the tiniest bit.
Just a touch. I'm trying to like really pick out the flavor profile, but I think you're right. It's sort of like an appley sort of, maybe touching into like a little bit of lemon lime, right?
Totally, yeah.
But really sort of straightforward flavors. There is a bit of the malolactic richness is showing up just a little bit on the finish, but those those fruit flavors are really strongly in the finish, and the acid just carries everything through for a long time.
It lingers so long on the palate. Boy, the fruit flavors and the acidity and the richness hanging out without getting too heavy, without getting out of balance. Man, this is in a killer place right now. If you've got access to a bottle, I can't encourage you enough to try one. This is fantastic.
This is really good Oregon Chardonnay. Yeah. And definitely one of the bottlings that I try to get to every year.
The prices are going up on many of them. This is always quite reasonable. I want to say this is right around $30, right?
Yeah, so like retail's like 34 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I think is a killer price at that point, right? Like they've got a big piece of land they grow Chardonnay on, and this is the reserve bottling from that.
Man, and it tastes like cheese.
Yep, good shit.
This is great. Yeah.
We gotta knock them back because we gotta move on to the third one.
Talking too much.
Yeah, we're talking too much.
We'll drink that up later. We'll move on to another local favorite winery. This is the Teutonic Wine Company. Did a cool project a couple years ago. Is this 14? 2014 red wine, Wasson Vineyard, Pinot Noir. We're gonna take a quick cut and read off the label to you later. It's a Pinot Noir and a Gamay blend made in amphora as an intent to be a tribute to the way wines were made at that time in the Mosel in history. Really cool project, right? So around Roman times, kind of an ambitious project. But they did some research, obviously, right? We're thousands of miles away from the Mosel.
But Barnaby travels there on a semi-regular basis, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so.
And has contacts over there and has done his research. And really everything he's done has been inspired by the Germans to great effect. So I was very excited to try this wine when it came out. Chaz and I both love, of course we love the Pinot Noir here, but we love the Gamay in Oregon. The idea of blending them together is not a huge stretch.
Not at all.
And just kind of a unique project. One of the special things that Teutonic Wine Company does. So here we go. It smells great, right? Deep, dark red fruit, kind of like plums, a little bit of pomegranate.
Yeah, I was to say, the dried pomegranate. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the dominant aroma originally.
A little bit of
Dyed
nutmeg.
cherries, dried cherries.
And of note, red amphora done, so no oak on this at all, and it doesn't smell like it.
I wish you could smell this right now. You had your, you got a glass.
But really engaging nose, right?
Yeah.
Deep fruits, I think this would be appealing to anybody. Very accessible.
Smells very good,
Yeah. Fresh, fun.
Boy, that's drinkable.
Good depth of fruit.
Yeah.
I'd seriously challenge you to find somebody who you couldn't pour this wine for. Maybe if they're super anti-flavor wine elite, right? If you just want it to taste like black earth and acidity and nothing else, maybe you'd be down on
Tastes
it.
like dirt and sticks.
But man, yeah, the fruit's got good complexity, good depth, lingers for a long time. The structure is definitely light on the lighter side, right?
It is.
The acidity is good, but
the tannins are on the lighter
the
side.
tannins are super light.
There's still great acid going on here, right? And I think that helps really carry a lot of the flavors, like the pomegranate sort of cherry juice.
Cherry juice, yes.
I mean, yeah, that's sort of what the dominant flavors for me entirely, and it just makes it super drinkable. It's almost juicy, sort of like texturally on the palate. And I like that. How much is this?
This one's more expensive. I think this is like $40 or something like that. Very small run, of course, right? And done with amphora. I'm 90% sure the amphora was made in Oregon. I think everything comes from Beckham. Shout out to them doing really cool stuff.
Right.
And cool of Teutonic to take advantage of their wares and make products with the wine. But
The amphora sort of adds almost like a I guess you could say like a minerality or something to the finish, right? Like I'm trying to think of it in that context, and like we tried a Riesling off camera that was in concrete, right?
Yeah.
Think about that both of those were done in like stone, right? Like
yeah.
I don't know. It's the way the finish is. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway,
Got off on a tangent.
No, that's good. It's good. Get some thoughts in there, but kind of the takeaway here is that this is a really unique project that happened in Oregon that's showing really well. So if you want something that's cool to talk about, to share with your friends, if you haven't tried a bottle of this yet, I think it's totally worth the money to pick one up just to have the experience and see what can be done. And just another great example of what Gamay and Pinot Noir can do in Oregon in a less than traditional for what we do with its style. I think it's great to see it happen. Barnaby, once again, painting outside of the lines, having great success, I can't imagine anybody else getting away with it to that degree.
I'm still blown away by the amount of experiments that he does that he's successful at.
Right.
Mind-boggling.
Yep, mad scientist,
Well
doing
done.
great things. Go visit their wine bar.
Yeah, I finally made it there for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Barnaby and Olga knocked it out of the park.
I'd say at least half the time you can talk to Barnaby or Olga behind the bar and get inside info right there. So that's
True.
great. Thanks for joining it. This is another. I was kind of down on getting a show tonight because it's kind of cold, little tough to schedule. We got some cool wines.
Snowy in Portland right now, hard to get around.
Now we're drinking with buddies, having a great time, talking about cool wines that only happen here
It's inspired.
in Oregon. We're having a great night. I hope you're having a great night. Have a great Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
What did you? Question of the day. What'd you get for Christmas? What will they see? Oh, they'll see it before Christmas.
They'll see it before.
Son of a bitch. What do you want for Christmas?
What do you want for Christmas? That's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
That's what it's going to be.
So next show or the show after, we're gonna do the New Year's show, right?
Yeah, I guess we're about due.
We gotta do some champagne. Pain Train. We'll have Matt on. So.
We're going to drink champagne till we black out on camera.
All right. We'll
Thanks
see you
for
guys
watching.
next time. Bye.